Hi, welcome to Culture Shock. So I had a really great week last week, actually. One of the best weeks I've had this year. I was privileged enough to spend the entire week in Switzerland. I flew in to Switzerland on the Monday night and I flew out again on the Thursday night. So really a quick trip around Zurich a little bit just to try and get a handle on what's actually happening there. But the real reason I went was to go up to the university town of St. Gallen, which is about an hour outside of Zurich, and the home of the 100-year-old University of St. Gallen, which is today one of the best business schools in Europe, ranked number 4 for some of the management practices that it does there, of training the leaders of tomorrow. But the reason I went up was essentially to take part in this. This is the Ignite conference. It was the 4th annual edition of this. And it's a conference, it's a remarkable thing, this. It's a conference about core purpose, about creating businesses that have purpose beyond profit as their raison d'etre. There's the website, the URL for it right there in case you're interested in checking it out. But here's what's so amazing about this. This conference takes place at the university, but it's not organized by the university, it's organized by students. And it has been for the last 4 years. So the original students who were in attendance this time around, but they've subsequently graduated, and the torch has been passed down to other students who have picked this up. There's about a dozen really sort of focused young people who are really intensely interested in culture and purpose and so on, and you know, sort of modern methods of managing and organizing teams in order to create great results. And there's probably about 80 students in attendance over the course of the 2 days as well. And we took part in workshops, and we ran workshops. We did all sorts of wonderful things while we were there. And it was really fascinating with speakers and experts from Belgium and from Chicago, from Bulgaria, and also alumnus from the University of St. Gallen themselves who come back for these sorts of events to come and teach what they've learned through experimenting with their own businesses and doing some really sort of audacious and amazing things. And I'll share one or two of those lessons with you in a moment. I was lucky enough to be able to attend as well and to be able to go up there and spend a couple of hours talking about great South African businesses and some of the things that we're doing here in terms of driving core purpose, in terms of driving culture and being culture-first organizations. And just for interest, I was actually told by one or two of the other speakers that they would struggle to come up with as many stories as I did about organizations in their countries or their towns, which is another example of just how kind of ahead of the game we are. It makes me proud to know that we can talk about things like this, and we've got so many stories to share. There were some moments of humour. I mean, one thing that really amused me, the Swiss Railroad ran a workshop, and actually before they went on, they made a comment that they were a little bit lost, didn't quite know how to begin because they were running 6 minutes late on this conference, and they just don't know what to do. They don't run late. And I mean, they really don't. When the Swiss trains say they're going to leave at 8:09, at 8:09 they start moving. It's amazing how efficient things actually are there. So what were the big lessons? Well, there were 3 things that stood out for me. I mean, there were so many lessons over 2 days, but 3 things that stood out. One of them was this statement that when you walk into an organization, you can smell the boss, and how true that is. You know organizations where there's great energy, where there's amazing sort of positivity and innovation going on, and then you meet the leaders, and it's rarely a surprise. And likewise, when you see organizations that are stifled and flat, and then you meet the leaders, that's fairly obvious as well. And this is something that I don't think we pay nearly enough attention to, is the fact that leaders have a massive impact on culture. The second one was this idea that after 3 months, ask employees to write down what they understand about their job, and from there, work with them to create something. This is radical thinking, but it's something that actually takes place in one of the organizations where the gentleman by the name of Herman Arnold, who's a former alumnus of St. Gallen University, he came and presented, and he actually has done these sorts of experiments in his workplace. And it's an amazing thing. He's had amazing impacts with them. This is a brave and amazing thing to do, because we literally have a habit today, even now, of hiring people and kind of going, well, that's a job, you go ahead and do it, without realizing that they've got some real influence. They can really share some real insights into how they can add better value for us. And that's something we absolutely want more and more of. And this last one was about creating leaders who are able to follow as well. We create leaders as well as followers. And this is quite a provocative thing to think about, because we're very much about trying to create leaders who are leaders. I mean, and having a great leader culture. I'm a big believer in this. But as the speaker put it to us on this particular topic, he was saying that you think about the way universities run. We were at the University of St. Gallen, so it's appropriate to speak about that. He's talking about how the dean would be elected by the professors and will be in place for, say, a period of 2 years. But after that, they move down to becoming just an ordinary professor again, and somebody else is elected to that position. So they're in charge of somebody who then becomes in charge of them fundamentally, and the whole thing just works because that's the expectation. And there are so many lessons like this, but amazing things, amazing audacious things that are going on, and it was absolutely exciting to be part of it. I mean, it was freezing cold outside, but it was really, the ideas were very hot inside, so that was cool. Ultimately, we were all sorry to see the end of it. I don't think it ran for nearly long enough, but it probably ran for just as long as it should. You should definitely check it out. This is the URL again. Make sure that you get onto the website and have a look at what actually happened there, and to have a look back at the last couple of years as well, because this is something I think we should be doing more of where we are as well. So that was my big wow factor for last week. I hope your week was as exciting as mine, and if not, well, there's always a week ahead, so let's make the most of that one. And you have a fantastic week.